If you don't see by now that all of our problems are based in Ukraine, the Ukraine Russia fiasco is what's causing all the problems in this country because the people who run this country have committed so many crimes and it involves Ukraine. If you don't see that by now, you're honestly either just an insane leftist with TDS or someone who just follows a party till the end. What's maddening to me and what really drives me crazy is when Trump made the phone call to the Ukraine president, the left, the media lost their mind and they turned it around and started to accuse President Trump of all these things that apparently Joe Biden did. And it's all coming out now. And the sad part is the GOP does nothing. They say, well, we might do an inquiry. We're going to possibly look into it. And this is the thing that was getting me so upset about appointing Kevin McCarthy as the Speaker of the House. And this is what I try to convey to people. And people are like, oh, we have to have this, get this done. We need to appoint the Speaker. No, it's not. What the MAGA Republicans were doing was trying to pin McCarthy and make him do things that we needed to do. And all the stuff that we're seeing now was the reason why. How corrupt Joe Biden is, how his ties to Ukraine are affecting the United States. All the stuff that we now see. Devin Archer testifying about how Joe Biden took millions of dollars. All these whistleblowers. Think about that. All these whistleblowers coming through and the media is just acting like it's not really happening. And go back a little bit and we could talk about how President Trump was impeached for just one whistleblower, one fake whistleblower that they wouldn't let us hear his name. Yet, double-digit whistleblowers are coming forward. Some of them have been fired. They've been investigated, suspended, all this stuff. To all these FBI, CIA whistleblowers, all these people who are coming forward with all the corruption going on in our government. And what happens? They get targeted by our government. When are we going to wake up as a country and really decide it's time to take our country back from these criminals running our government? All these people who think they can just do what they want, start wars, tax us to the end of time, and we just sit here and take it. When are we, the people, going to say enough is enough as they target our former president? Because it seems like he's the only one who's really trying to point out all the crimes being committed by our government, and they don't want that exposed. They don't want it exposed so bad that they're willing to let the whole country crumble. And if you don't believe that, just see what they're doing. They're putting us on the brink of war with Russia and China, two very powerful forces that, in my opinion, I don't see any reason to be getting involved in these wars. I just read an article on military.com where they're actually talking about bringing the draft back. If that doesn't open your eyes, I don't know what does. And even in Russia, as we speak, they just extended the age limit for a draft. So they're actually going to be taking older men in order to be drafted. So what can you say about that? What do you think is going on behind the scenes? Why do you think our country, Russia, is suddenly starting to talk about drafting more people, older people, all this stuff? Because there's stuff going on they don't want you to know. All this stuff that's happening with Joe Biden, it all ties into our whole government. And they're going to continue to distract us with all this other nonsense. And they're willing to take us to war in order to hide their crimes. Why do you think every time new information comes out about Joe Biden, they start adding new charges to Donald J. Trump? Don't you see that it's all interconnected? That everything our government does is corrupt and none of it is for the people? The Constitution was written for the people, and they put all these clauses in there to help us prevent the government that we now have. So the question to you is, how do we fix this? What do we do to get our country back, to get our government back from these criminals that don't give two damns about we the people? Everything they do is to make themselves prosperous, their families prosperous, or their donors prosperous. but everything else just continues to stymie the American people, to kill our economy, and to hurt us as people. Our government no longer represents we the people. And the more we just turn our eyes, turn our head, and do nothing about it, the more we continue to lose our country. And believe it or not, if you have children who are within the age of 18 years, either over or about to become 18 years over, may soon be seeing a war that none of us want. So I ask you and I beg you, as people of the United States, please start to see what's happening. Stop letting them think Donald J. Trump is the problem. The people who have TDS will never, ever change their mind. They'll destroy this country from one brick to the top brick because they don't care. Their TDS is so strong that they will never see what's actually happening. I know millions of people every day are starting to wake up and see what's happening, but is it enough? Is it enough to save our country from the destruction that appears to be heading our way? For the total collapse of probably what was the greatest country ever created in the history of the world. Will we wake up soon enough to save it, or will we stay in a coma and allow the total destruction of, again, what I say was probably the greatest country ever created? Because we have greedy, self-destructive people running our government that don't give two craps about the people they're supposed to be serving. Anyway, thanks for watching.